Most motorcycle engines don't die from miles. They're murdered by one oil mistake the rider never notices until the bottom end starts knocking. And industry teardown data shows a single lubrication failure can spike internal wear by 600%. The wrong oil can starve your camshafts and bearings in under 15 seconds, triggering a slow collapse that ends in a $3,000 engine rebuild. In this video, I'm revealing the 11 fatal engine oil mistakes that are silently killing motorcycle engines long before their time. And watch until the end, because mistake number 5 is the biggest engine killer most riders are making without ever realizing it. Mistake 1. The forgotten filter O-ring. All right, let's dive in. Mistake number 1. The forgotten oil filter O-ring. Most riders think the worst oil mistake is using the wrong viscosity or skipping a change. But the real instant engine killer is something much smaller. A tiny rubber O-ring that gets left stuck to the engine block after you remove the old filter. It happens all the time, even to experienced mechanics. If that old O-ring stays behind and you screw the new filter on top of it, the new filter can't seal. The moment you start the engine and oil pressure builds, one of 3 catastrophes happens, and none of them are good. The filter can blow off completely. All your oil can dump onto the ground in seconds. Or a high-pressure leak can starve the engine of oil before you even leave the driveway. The damage is instant. Without pressure, the protective oil film collapses, main bearings seize, pistons scuff the cylinder walls, camshafts run completely dry. This mistake doesn't just shorten engine life, it kills engines outright, often requiring a full rebuild. The terrifying part? You usually get no warning. Everything looks fine after the service. No warning lights, no strange sounds for the first few seconds. Just silent, irreversible metal-on-metal destruction. The fix is simple but non-negotiable. Always inspect the filter mating surface on the engine case. Run your finger around it and make absolutely certain the old O-ring came off with the old filter. A perfect seal is your first line of defense. But here's the thing. Even a perfect seal won't save you from the next mistake, which attacks your engine in the first 3 seconds of every single ride. Mistake 2. Cold start, pressure collapse. Mistake number 2 is oil pressure collapse on cold starts. The second deadliest oil mistake doesn't happen on the highway at full throttle. It happens in the first 3 seconds after you hit the starter button. Most riders fire up their bike and blip the throttle or take off immediately, not realizing their engine is running almost completely unprotected during those first critical moments. Here's how it works. When oil settles overnight, it drains off critical surfaces back into the sump. Your oil pump needs a few seconds to pull oil up, build pressure, and send it to the top of the engine. If you rev the engine too early, or if your oil is too thick from the cold, the engine experiences a pressure collapse, a brief window where the pump hasn't built pressure yet, but the crankshaft, cams, and bearings are already spinning. In those seconds, metal is literally scraping metal. Cam lobes run dry. Bearings take direct impact. Timing chain guides wear faster in 3 seconds of a dry cold start than in 30 minutes of normal riding. Over months and years, these microscopic wounds accumulate into major failures. Chain stretch, noisy top ends, bearing fatigue, and total failure well before 50,000 miles. You might think, I don't rev it, I'm safe. But modern motorcycle ECUs often idle at 1,500 to 2,000 revolutions per minute on a cold start all by themselves. That's enough to cause irreversible wear. High-revving sport bike engines with their tight tolerances are especially vulnerable to this. The life-saving habit is embarrassingly simple. Just wait 15 to 20 seconds after starting before you ride. Let the idle settle down. That single habit can literally double your engine's lifespan. It gives the oil time to circulate and build a protective film everywhere it's needed. But using the right oil is your best defense against this cold start carnage. And that leads us directly to the next mistake, where most riders get the idea of the right oil completely wrong. Mistake 3. Ignoring the correct oil spec, not just weight. And that brings us to mistake number 3. Ignoring the correct oil specification, not just the weight. Here's the truth. Picking up a bottle that says 10W40 is not enough. That number is just the viscosity, how thick or thin it flows. The real magic, or the real danger, is in the specification written in tiny letters elsewhere on the bottle. For motorcycles, the single most important spec is JASO MA, or MA2. This is non-negotiable. Cars have a separate transmission, but your bike's clutch is bathing in the same oil as your engine. Car oils and even some generic motorcycle oils have friction modifiers that make things slippery. In your wet clutch, that slippery oil makes the plates slip against each other instead of grabbing. You'll feel it as clutch slippage under acceleration, and over time, it glazes and ruins your clutch plates. JASO MA and MA2 are certified to work without those harmful modifiers. But even within the right JASO class, you can still get it wrong with viscosity. If the oil is too thick for your climate, like a 20W50 in freezing temps, it moves like molasses on a cold start. It can't get up to the camshafts and bearings fast enough, so you're right back in mistake number 2, causing wear before the pressure builds. If it's too thin, like a 5W30 in a high-performance air-cooled bike, the oil film can shear down and become too weak to protect parts once the engine is at full operating temperature. You lose that cushion between your bearings and journals. Then there's the OEM secret. Manufacturers like Honda, Yamaha, and BMW spend millions testing oils with their specific engine metallurgy, bearing clearances, and clutch materials. That's why they create their own approval codes, like Honda's HP4S or BMW's Advantech. These oils have additive packages engineered for those engines. Using the wrong spec might not cause an immediate explosion, but it leads to slow death. Accelerated cam lobe wear, premature gear pitting in the transmission, and that clutch slippage we talked about. The rule is simple but critical. Open your owner's manual, find the page that lists the recommended oil, match the exact viscosity grade in the required specification, whether it's JASOMA2, an API rating, or that manufacturer-specific code. Don't just grab a bottle that looks close. This is the foundation of your engine's internal protection. Mistake 4. Heat soak and the turbo/high compression killer. Now, let's say you've got the perfect oil with the perfect spec installed with a perfect seal. You're still not safe from mistake number 4, which is heat soak. And this is a turbo and high compression engine killer. The danger starts the moment you shut the bike off. When the engine is running, oil is constantly circulating, carrying heat away from the hottest parts like the piston crowns and exhaust valves. But when you kill the ignition, that circulation stops instantly. The oil pump isn't turning. The heat that's still trapped in the metal suddenly has nowhere to go. So temperatures in those local hotspots don't just stay high. They can actually spike higher than when you were riding. That residual heat in the piston or the turbo housing now radiates into the small amount of oil sitting right there in that passage or bearing. It literally cooks it. This cooking process burns off the volatile components and the critical anti-wear additives in the oil. What's left behind starts to harden into carbon varnish. Over time, this varnish builds up on things like your piston rings, causing them to stick in their grooves so they can't seal properly. It gums up turbocharger bearings that rely on microscopic clearances. It creates a rough, sticky coating on your camshaft lobes. Motorcycles are especially prone to this. A tightly faired sport bike traps heat around the engine. A high-compression twin or a turbocharged engine runs hotter to begin with. An air-cooled bike, by its very nature, has less capacity to shed heat after shutdown. The damage is slow and silent. You get sticky rings leading to lost compression and oil burning. You get a turbo that starts whistling differently and then fails. The fix is one of the easiest habits you can build. After a hard ride, especially if you've just come off the highway or been pushing it in the twisties, don't just park it and turn the key. Let the engine idle for 60 seconds. Just 1 minute. Let the electric fan cycle if it needs to. This lets the oil, which is still being pumped at idle, carry that trapped residual heat away from the components and into the oil cooler or the crankcase where it can dissipate safely. You're letting the engine cool down with its cooling system still active. It costs you nothing but a minute, and it can save you a turbo or a top-end rebuild. Mistake 5. Running even a half-quart low, the silent killer. You can manage all that, but the next mistake is the single biggest engine killer we see in the shop. And your oil pressure light, it won't save you. This is mistake 5. Running even a half-quart low. Here's the dangerous myth. The oil light isn't on, so I'm fine. Here's the hydraulic truth. Modern motorcycle oil pumps are designed to work within a very tight volume range. When you're just a half quart low, the pump starts to draw in tiny pockets of air along with the oil. Each one of those air bubbles causes a momentary collapse of the protective oil film on your main bearings and cam lobes. These microsecond collapses add up to major damage. It flattens bearings, it scores cylinder walls, it causes hydraulic timing, chain tensioners to lose pressure and start rattling. The cruel reality is that the oil pressure warning light is a last resort idiot light. It often only triggers after catastrophic damage has already begun, and checking the level on a motorcycle is trickier than in a car. Using the sight glass or dipstick requires the bike to be perfectly level, not on the side stand. Most checks are done wrong. The non-negotiable fix? Check your oil level every other fuel stop, but only when the engine is warm and the bike is standing upright and level. This isn't about being obsessive. It's about not letting the pump suck air and silently grind your engine to dust. Mistake 6. The cheap filter disaster. Keeping it full is essential, but what you filter that oil with matters just as much. That's mistake 6. The cheap filter disaster. It's a common oversight. A rider buys premium synthetic oil, then installs a bargain bin filter to save $8. This is a catastrophic mismatch. Cheap filters fail in 3 ways. Their paper media clogs up early, their internal structure can collapse under pressure, or their bypass valve fails, letting dirty, unfiltered oil circulate throughout your engine. That unfiltered oil is full of microscopic metal particles and clutch debris. It acts like liquid sandpaper, constantly grinding away at your crankshaft journals, cam bearings, and transmission gears. For motorcycles, the details matter even more. Many bikes use cartridge-style filters, where the quality of the single O-ring and the crush washer is critical for a leak-free seal. A failure there means you lose all your oil fast. The rule is simple. Never ever skip replacing the filter with your oil change. And always use a quality brand specifically matched to your motorcycle model. It's the cheapest insurance policy your engine has. So here's the truth. Your engine's lifespan isn't about luck or miles. It's about avoiding these silent killers that happen between services. If this helped you, subscribe for more straight talk maintenance. And to see how the pros do it, watch this video next to see the Japanese oil change secret that makes engines last 300,000 miles. Ride safe.